You've been on this Devin Booker MVP bandwagon thing for a long time. I had him fourth. I appreciated how special that Suns team was. Really, you were one of the first people I heard talking about it. Like, hey, it's not just that they're beating teams; they're toying with them. They are laying on these 20-5 runs and these 25-3 runs and stuff like that. When do you think it shifted for Booker this season?
I think it really shifted for him, to be quite honest, Bill, when Ricky Rubio came. And Ricky Rubio, I think, taught him to trust him, that he didn't always have to have the ball. It's almost similar to what Phil Jackson did with Michael Jordan, with Scottie Pippen. And I think, Ricky Rubio and Monty convinced him that it doesn't matter, how many touches you get. The touches that you do get are going to be tremendous, and your scoring average is going to be good, and you're going to win games. And I think Devin bought into it because he was tired of losing. He knew he could score on anybody, and he just said, okay, I'm going to give that a shot. Matter of fact, he told Monty, I want to be coached. That was his exact words to Monty when Monty took the job. He said, I want to be coached. And that's what he's done. And Devin has adhered to it, and it's turned out to be a tremendous run for him. And I think that's when it turned around. And then Chris Paul just took it to a new level.
Well, that's the thing. You talk about young players, right? So he gets Rubio in there, who's unselfish, who's a vet. Gets Monty Williams, who easily could have gone to the Lakers, and boy, would he be miserable right now. and then you get Chris Paul, who's one of the great unselfish teammates of his generation.
Yeah.
A little difficult to play with if you're the wrong guy. I think for Booker, he just wants to play with people who are wired like Chris Paul. Booker is. So he gets these three people. What happens if he doesn't meet any of these people? What happens if he's just on Phoenix and let's say they're the Sacramento Kings with what's happened with them, where they're bringing more lottery picks in. It never works. The coach keeps changing. The GM keeps changing. And Booker's just basically the De'Aaron Fox in this situation. Does he still have an ascent? What does it look like?
I think he probably would have been gone. And that's with any player, right? I mean, if they find that things aren't going to work out, and they don't think, they're going to be able to get guys in there to help raise them to a new level, they start thinking about leaving that particular team. And that was my fear. Because I know how good he is. From the first moment he put a Suns uniform on, and Jeff Hornacek was like trying to delay the inevitable, him starting and him being the guy, you can just tell in the few minutes that he got that this kid is going to be special. And so this organization needed Chris Paul, Bill. They needed Chris Paul to just balance Devin and show him the other side of success and not chasing it just based on your numbers. And it's taking him to a great level.
It's funny when you know early with the young guys, because Tatum was like that for the Celtics. It just became clear pretty quickly, like, this one's actually like there's something special about him. What's interesting about Booker, I did a bunch of pods with Durant. Probably did 6 in 2 years with him. And one of them, he started raving about Booker. And Booker was a nobody at that point. I mean, he was a lottery pick. He was on the Suns, but the team stunk.
Right.
And I think I asked him something like, what young players on your radar, who do you think might have it? Who might have it and he was like Booker. And he went on this thing. You were an ex-player. You played for 19 years. You were born too soon. The 3-point line would have made you probably an extra $100 million. But did you see? Do you feel like the guys who played, they see something? There's some sort of DNA thing that they can spot that somebody like me couldn't spot?
Yeah, what you see, Bill, is you see a calm. You see like a guy that understands the science of what his craft really is in regards to dissecting his game, and that's the score. He is always on balance. That's one of the first things that I saw with him, that he's always on balance. He rarely takes really bad shots. Like, if you're a scorer, you're going to take bad shots. But if you watch Devin, he rarely does. But what also makes him unique, and you agree with this, because I know you remember watching Ricky Pierce play.
Oh, yeah.
Is Ricky Pierce loved to have contact when he shot. It was just something about a guy very close to you when you took your shot. And that's Devin. I mean, it's like it forces him to maybe concentrate more. That's why he probably gets into it. But when I saw that, and then just the way that he approached the game and how respectful he was of the game. Like a lot of guys aren't respectful of the game. They don't know the history. They don't respect the players that they watched growing up, and Devin has been all of that. He's been in my ear since he's been in Phoenix. And that's the value of where he is now, and obviously Kobe took it to a new level when Kobe befriended him.
Yeah.
And he is just professional, man. He is one of the most professional players I've ever seen. And that's why he's successful.
I love your contact point. There's Vinnie Johnson was like that too. He needed to have somebody like basically in his jersey, and that would when he would really get going. There's certain guys that just they feed off that. I think it's something Tatum is learning how. That's one of the ways I think he's gotten better this year is beating guys off the dribble and kind of keeping them on his side and knowing how to use that kind of stuff against him. The Kobe thing with Booker, they were beating into the ground during the playoffs last year. He's not Kobe. But I think out of all the guys we have now, I think there's the most kind of Kobe chromosomes floating in his pool, right? He does stuff. First of all, the as you said, like the competitiveness and the commitment to the craft and things like that. The fact that he doesn't take terrible shots. Kobe went through that stage, younger Kobe, when he did take terrible shots.
Right.
That got better as he got older. What are the other similarities? What about like from an alpha dog hanging out in a room standpoint? What is that like?
Well, yeah, he is a loner, so to speak, but this team is very close.
Yeah.
And so he's opened up now because of that. But I'll just give you something else. He is relentless. Talks a lot of smack, which I love. I was a smack talker. I love it.
Yeah, that was your era.
Yeah, it keeps guys off balance. Love it. But also what I love about him is like I said, he understands now how to lead.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are always over his house. He's always in the middle of them, in the midst of them. And now he understands that now that he said 8 positive things to them, that it's okay for him to say some negative things. He just understands and give credit to, I think, to his upbringing, how his dad raised him as a basketball player. And I think that plays a role in it as well. He's special, Bill. And I'm going to say this. And so people understand why I'm pushing him, because he is special. He's going to be better. And I think people are having a hard time with it because, he's 6'4", 6'5", and that's the average height in the league. We've seen guys come in the league and they can score and all of that. He has another level to get to. He truly does. And he showed it when Chris Paul went down.
Yeah.
Average 7 assists. Like, people don't think he can pass. He can pass the ball. He can operate in the 2-man game. It is a level he can get to that people have not seen.
Yeah, and even beyond the assists, what impressed me about that stretch was he was kind of game managing. It's one thing to be like, okay, I'm now going to dribble the ball up and I'll throw you the ball. But he actually, and Tatum, it's something he developed too this year, this ability to kind of see what the defense is doing. Like, they're going to play probably Brooklyn in round 1, and Brooklyn's just going to trap the shit out of him from 40 feet, right? And I think he's going to be able to solve that as the series goes along because his hoops IQ has just gotten better and better. I see the same with Booker.
Tatum's handle has gotten so much better. His feel for the game has gotten better.
I'm so proud of him.
Yeah. He knows he doesn't have to see. Now he knows he doesn't have to take 25 shots.
Right.
Like, I try to tell these young guys, and this is a guy that played a role. I started my first 4 years, but after that, I came off the bench and I made a living at it. And like I tell these young guys, man, it's a science to scoring. You don't have to rush it. If you get the minutes, you will get your numbers.
Right.
That's just the beauty of it. And the all-time greats figure that out. You can go to any all-time great that will score. You will see. If he gets 30 minutes, he's going to get his average because he understands how to do it.